Hey fellas, and welcome to the first iteration of what I hope will be a long series, but will likely just be like one or two things. We are going to watch the expansion and probably destruction of the outpost of Elderpaddle. The Elderpaddle, we've just embarked. It's a really nice area. It's on this hill, which I don't quite enjoy, but right down the bottom here we've got a nice stream, we've got lots of trees. It's a really nice place, so we are going to see if we can make this a home. Joining us on the adventure we have the Fellaz. We've got Lockie the miner, who is a proficient miner and a proficient stone crafter. He is hateful, shameless, but he's developed empathy. So that's really nice. These are all randomized, by the way. I didn't set them up. I set up the skills to be relevant to what I think the Fellaz would be good at, but also what's useful, because you need to have useful dwarves, otherwise you'll die. So Lockie is our miner and stone crafter. We've got B, who is our very talented manager. He's a competent record keeper and organizer, and also a proficient miner when he's not managing the fortress. We have Moabi, who was elected as our expedition leader. He is a proficient carpenter and also has lots of other skills in conversation and appraising, because he knows the value of every good in the world, apparently. We have Jag, who is our sheriff and proficient woodcutter. He's also a blacksmith, armorsmith, and weaponsmith. But his best skill is chopping down trees and being the cop. We have myself. I am a mason, so I work with stone. I'm also a cook, a brewer, and a potter. And I disdain family, apparently, which is true. Anyway, we also have Gibbo. Gibbo is our fisherman and also hunter. He's also our hammerer, which means he's basically Jag's muscle to go and capture any thieves or ne'er-do-wells. And his latest thought was just to be merry, so good on you, Gibbo. Keep it happy. And Wheels, finally, is our proficient planter and herbalist, so everything to do with growing and planting crops, as well as picking fresh fruit and other plants from the outside. That is Wheels. Wheels values harmony. That's very accurate. We are going to go down a few levels and decide where we want to create our fort. I think I'm going to do it on the ground level. I don't want to make, because these are all jarring steps, I don't really want to deal with that. So what I might do is get Jag to clean up a few of these trees, which I'm sure he'd love to do. And from there, I might actually get Wheels to just get busy gathering all these plants, so we can have a nice little stockpile of food. That's going to take him years, but we won't have the farms up for a while, so that'll keep him busy. And then I'll let that go, but I'll start channeling down and make this nice and square. Cool. In the meantime, actually, we need to chop down a few trees. Yep, we've already done that. Great. In the meantime, I'll set up a couple of workshops, just the important ones up the top. These will get deleted later. But we'll have a carpenter's workshop. We will have a stoneworker. Check that there. And we'll have a craft dwarf's workshop. That should be enough to keep us going. Maybe we'll get a still. Why not? Farming still, so we can start brewing some of the stuff. Alright, so we've just had our first wave of migrants come in. So far it's only been 3. What looks like a child, a woodcutter, and then this person who is a legendary stone crafter, which is pretty cool. Hopefully they can make some cool stuff. To give you a bit of a look at the fort so far, we've just got all this stuff that's going to get removed. We'll clean up the front gates nicely later on. This is going to be the farming area. Firstly, we have to flood it so that we can grow crops in it. And we've cut out the ground here so we can grow some outside crops, which is pretty cool. We've got our staircase down here. These are all going to be workshops, and then underneath these stockpiles so they can get stuff nice and easily. I've got a plan for 2 more layers of that, but we don't want to waste time digging that out because it won't be used for a while. Here is the start of what's going to be the meeting hall, the dining hall, and some food and drink stockpiles. Down here we have the nobles' bedrooms. The nobles being, at this stage, Jag as the sheriff, B as the hammerer, maybe Moby if he gets elected as mayor, and Gibbo if he decides he wants something, which he doesn't. He's nice and easy. Over here, Jag is, demanding a study, a bedroom, and a dining room to himself, and he wants a bunch of stuff, chests and cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And B just needs an office because he's a manager and that's what he does. Finally, underneath we've just got everyone else's bedrooms. But yeah, we're just waiting for that to get mined out, which will take a while. Looks like we've got a yak, cow, and a stray dog having a fight up here. There's yak blood everywhere, so I'm guessing the dog won. Alright, so we got our first bit of drama. Gibbo, while out fishing, got attacked by an alligator. So what we can do is see the log. So we can see that the alligator bit Gibbo on the lower body, but he only lightly tapped it. Then he attacked again, but Gibbo jumped away. And then he just started screaming for help. And then he stood up, apparently unharmed. And then he cried on somebody in charge and didn't find it satisfying. And then he yelled at someone in charge. So he's basically run up to Moabi, cried at him, and then yelled at him. But he found neither satisfying because he doesn't like conflict. And we're back. Lots has happened since last time. We've dug out a bit more for the farming. So we've got lots of room for our future farm plots. We've really built out the workshops. So they are in production now. Haven't really set up any of the work details. We're just kind of getting everything built. We've got our stockpiles down here, food stockpiles and work goods stockpiles. The little hall has been built, and we've got our offices for our nobles ready. And down here is where the bedrooms were going to be, but as you can see there's water everywhere. We've hit an aquifer, which basically just means the stone kind of contains a bit of water. It is manageable if you smooth the stones, which I've asked them to do here. That's what all these squares are. It should stop the leaking, but at the moment it's just kind of going crazy and everyone's too busy to smooth the stone apparently. So I've got the guys down here just digging it out a bit more. We'll probably have to set up some pumps or something to get the water out in the future, but as you can see it's kind of filling up. Okay, so we've had a little bit happen, and we've had our first death. If you see down here, one of our fishermen, luckily it wasn't Gibbo, a fisherman drowned. No idea how it happened. The only one in the area at the time was Wheels, which gives me suspicions. But maybe he just fell. I don't know. They're pretty dumb. There's no bridge here, so to get on that side, he would have had to go swimming, and he's probably just drowned swimming. So I might have to actually build a bridge there. I might do that now. So going to constructions and build a bridge. Want it to close this way, and we'll do a 3x3 so people can cross over. All right. And what else happened? Gibbo is still... Oh, look, he's shocked at reliving being attacked, and he's also disgusted by miasma, so it looks like something has died and started rotting around him. Probably this, like all of those mussels, he's just fishing up mussels and then leaving them there, and they're rotting, because he's so efficient at fishing, apparently, that nobody can keep up. The next cool thing we're going to do is, in order to plant things, this ground has to be muddy. And the way that it gets muddy is by getting water on it. So what I've done here is I've created a pump. So we're going to pump out some water from the river, have it flood all through here, hopefully not flood it too much. We just want to get all of these tiles damp, and then we can start planting on it. So let's just see what happens, because these spew out water, as you can see. Got this woodcutter pumping, and it is just gunning water into here. I might wait till it gets about halfway and then cut it off, so then it can fill up the rest slowly. You can see it's just pushing shit around. It's a lot of water and a lot of force. We might cut that there, see how it goes. I think I probably cut it a bit late, just judging by the way the water's coming on here. Basically, when it gets down to, this shows the depth. So 7 is the maximum depth of water, and it goes all the way down to 1. And then when it's at 1, it can evaporate. But it looks like it's probably going to average out at about 2 or 3, so we might have to dig a little bit out. Yep, that's good. Everything's got wet. It's down to 2 or 3. Awesome. What we'll do is just channel out a bit more. Maybe there, just to give it a bit more space to evaporate. Cutting into a little bit of the livestock here, so I might have to redraw that so they don't. Oh shit, well I've deleted it. Fucking good one. Cool, well we'll redraw that, and then we'll come back when this is all evaporated into our farms. Okay, so this seems to be a very Gibbo-centric playthrough, but apparently Gibbo has claimed a craft dwarf's workshop, and he is going to make something. I don't know what he's after just yet. He's going to run around and pick up things that he needs to build his mysterious creation. It looks like he's grabbing logs, just a bunch of logs, and he's working furiously. So this is something that happens in Dwarf Fortress. People get overtaken by strange moods, and they just get obsessed with something. They just need to build something, and if they have all the ingredients for it, then they build it, and it's a masterwork creation. It's worth heaps of dwarf bucks, and it also instantly increases their skill to legendary status, depending on what they build. And if they don't get the stuff that they need, then they go crazy and usually take their clothes off and walk around naked and sad until they die of dehydration, which is very fun. It looks like Gibbo's got what he needs. So he's just going to make something, and he's grabbed all this stuff out of wood, and he's gone into a craft dwarf's workshop, so he's probably going to come out as a legendary woodcrafter. And what has he made? He's made Bunamthad, the cedar ring, and he offers it up to the group. So he's made a legendary cedar ring. So let's have a look at it. It is a cedar ring. It's of the highest quality. It's decorated with cedar and willow, and on the item is an image of dwarves and humans in sandpear wood. It's a type of wood, and the dwarves are fighting with the humans, and the artwork relates to the attack on the scintillating bunnies of Praise Locked by the Lone Paints in the late summer of 95 during Rashgur Kosh, the attack of Slaughter. So this is something that's cool that happens, is when you create a world, it randomly generates the world, all of the terrain, all of the civilizations, everything, just like everything you would expect in a Lord of the Rings kind of thing. And it randomly creates history. So like what this is referring to, a fight between dwarves and humans that happened in history, and because Gibbo knows about that, then he can create artwork, and they can create engravings that depict it. They can write books. They can do all this stuff that refers back to the history. And I think that's pretty cool. But we've got a ring that's worth $2,000 maybe. Our appraiser hasn't really had a good look at it, but like that's a lot of money. So good on you, Gibbo. Okay, so Gibbo can't catch a fucking break. So remember the dwarf who drowned over here? Well, we can't get to him because he's in deep, deep water. And obviously he drowned there and no one wants to drown going to get his corpse. So what he's done is come back as a ghost. So this is a ghostly spectre. And he is just following Gibbo around, haunting him. And Gibbo can't do any work because he's just overwhelmed by horror because of this fucking ghost. Okay, so we've had another strange mood. This time it was just one of the random furnace operators that came into the fort. Unfortunately, he wanted silk, and we don't have any silk. So he has gone berserk. And what has happened right now, I might just let this play out because I think... Yes, he's in a berserk rage and he's tired and bleeding. We can't see... here he is. He's cut open. His left lung is mangled beyond recognition. Basically, he's gone berserk and he's just started fucking attacking everyone. So everyone's attacking him, and it looks like his first toe on his left foot has been removed. So let's check the combat logs there. Alright, so he's gotten into a fight with the glassmaker. Glassmaker's punched him in the hip so hard that it twisted him. Furnace operator is just swinging at this glassmaker, and the glassmaker and the militia commander are just punching the shit out of him. This goes on for quite some time. Yeah, the militia commander grabs him in his back teeth and starts punching him in the leg and the knees. He's absolutely ripping into his knee. Furnace maker starts looking sick. Militia commander releases his grip from his back teeth and then grabs his front teeth and starts scratching him, which just tears apart some of his skin. It's getting pretty gruesome, and God, this goes for a while. Basically, this furnace operator is just getting the shit kicked out of him. They just keep punching him in the arms, punching him in the legs, biting him in his feet. Oh, this must be where his toes come off. Yep. So the glassmaker, the militia commander just shakes around his toe so much that it rips off. Just beating him up. This pinky purple is the good shit. That's usually when they grapple or when something gets ripped off. So we're just going to look through them. Yeah, it just keeps grabbing him by the teeth. He had him gripped on the feet. So it's a lot of teeth and a lot of feet. We're just going to watch him die because he's just getting the shit kicked out of him. Can't really see anything because they're fighting on a staircase. But there we go, he has died. Let's see if it says anything fun about how he died. No, they just pinned him down and started punching him. Yeah, he lost consciousness from exhaustion, and then they just punched him in the face until he died. That's a lot of him just getting punched in the head, punched in the head, punched in the head, punched in the head. So yeah. So it's been a little bit since the last update. Basically, not much has happened. I've just been cutting out a bunch of stuff, expanding out the workshop. So we've got a huge industry going at the moment. We've started our steel industry, so we can start building a military, and yeah, everything's kind of going along swimmingly. Just lots and lots and lots of stuff being dug out. Expanding the hall, it's pretty bare at the moment. We can still see the ring that Gibbo made on display. It's pride of place. I'm obviously going to reshuffle this because it looks like absolute shit. We've set up a little church. We've got the hospital. This is going to be something cool. I forget, maybe a library. That's a library. But yeah, I mean, and the bedrooms, this looks like a hot mess. But they're basically being cleaned up as well and expanded. This is just blood and mud. This is where everything yeah, this is just a trash hole. Don't worry about that. Cool. So the reason for this update is Heckles has been possessed, and he's taken over a workshop, a stone dwarf's workshop. I think Heckles was already, yeah, he was already a mason. So we're just going to follow him around. Possessed by unknown forces. I can't even fucking say it there. Yeah, so just running around grabbing everything that she needs. Lots of pig iron bars. Cool. Well, okay, cool. So has everything that she needs and is building away. Let's just have a look. So the chalk, dolomite, cut gems, and pig iron bars. So it's probably going to be something cool, maybe something useless, I don't know, made out of chalk. And then it's going to be decorated with sardonyxes and pig iron bars. Probably started with pig iron bars, that's generally what they do. Okay, so it looks like Heckles has built Selenishlam, the chalk weapon rack, and has offered it up to everybody, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we could chuck that maybe in Jag's office to keep him super happy. See how Jag is going. Jag is still pissed off because he doesn't have anything that he needs. Cool, so let's do that for him. So let's find out Jag's... So this is Jag's stuff. So he needs a cabinet, and we'll chuck that in the bedroom. We'll get him a... okay. No. Actually, let's look at Jag, and then we'll go through everybody. And all of the guys, and we'll have a bit of a check-in and kind of see what they are up to. So all of the dwarves have preferences, and if you give them stuff that is in their preferences, then they get even more happy. So, for instance, Jag here likes lead, and he likes the color brass, and he likes crossbows and shields. So, like if Jag was a armor smith or something, or a weaponsmith, and he made shields, he would make them better than most people because he really likes them. And if you also put shields on display or crossbows, so if you made a lead crossbow and then put that on display in his room, that would make him very happy because he likes crossbows, he likes lead, and it's in his room. Cool. He detests snails, old Jag, but cool. He's got nothing in it. We don't have any of this stuff, so we can't specifically make Jag happy. I was just hoping that, if he really liked what the weapon rack was made out of, you could chuck it in there and he would be ecstatic. But yeah, let's just quickly go through the fellas. So Lockie is now a legendary binder and a pretty talented stonecrafter. He's got some unmet needs. He wants to have some martial training, so he kind of wants to fight people. And he wants to be extravagant and be with family. And yeah, he has an unmet need to fight. So we might chuck him in to a squad and just have him wrestle. They can wrestle with the boys. And yeah, let's just look at like some of his thoughts. He's just been uneasy because he hasn't been able to be extravagant. A bit lonely after not seeing family. You can see all of his friends and stuff here. He doesn't have family, so I don't know how we're going to meet that need. Maybe we need to get Lockie a girlfriend. You can see he's close friends with everyone, except for me, fucking piece of shit. Kindred spirits with B. But yeah, for the rest of the starter boys, he's close friends. I don't know what Heckles has done. Cool, so we'll have a look at, Unlucky. He's got a very good sense of empathy, but he has poor analytical abilities, iffy sense for music, and little patience. He's prone to hatred and develops negative feelings. There's heaps of shit in here. I might, if you just pause it if you want to read it. I can't do this for everyone. It'll be a half-an-hour video. But yeah, and preferences. You like tetrahedrite, zinc, rock crystal, plum wood, clear glass, giant raccoon leather, and you absolutely detest flies. B B's been absolutely killing it as also a legendary miner and also our organizer and record keeper. Yeah, he needs to fight as well. Everyone, you fellas need to get wrestling. I'll have to create a little squad for you fellas. B's got a great deal of patience, very good creativity, and very good feel for social relationships, but he has little willpower and questionable spatial sense. So this is funny, he has a need to fight, so you think he would be good in the military, but he has questionable spatial sense, so he'd probably be a bad dodger. But, whatever, he can just have a shield then. He's very curious, he's often nervous, lives in a fast-paced life, very true. He's trusting, has a greedy streak, and he needs alcohol to get through the day, and he likes working outdoors and grumbles only mildly at the weather. And he's a hardened individual. So this dude's pretty tough. We got Moabi. Moabi's a High Master Carpenter, so hasn't quite hit legendary status, but has been busy. I think Moby does a few things around the place. As the expedition leader, Moby gets yelled at a lot and gets cried at a lot, and I think most of that's coming from Gibbo. Again, needs to fight people, but also make romance and be extravagant. Personality, has a great sense of empathy, great kinesthetic sense, and a great feel for the surrounding space, but has very bad intuition. Doesn't stick with things if even minor difficulties arise. I can relate to that. Has an overbearing personality, is friendly and always tries to say nice things to others, finds obligations confining, although she is conflicted by this for more than one reason. Lots of shit to read. Needs alcohol to get through the day, likes working outdoors, doesn't really care about anything anymore. Jesus Christ, that's glib. And preferences, absolutely detests cave spiders. And likes hemp fabric and snail shell. We've done Jag. Heckle's Mason is only a proficient Mason. Where did generally they go up through massive skills? But obviously Heckles didn't get any great skills for making that thing, so unlucky. Heckles, personality. Very good creativity and good intellect. Has an iffy sense for music, a questionable spatial sense, an iffy memory, little willpower, poor kinesthetic sense, and very bad sense of empathy. Just a glowing review there. Has great trouble mastering fear when confronted by danger. Very true. Is very impolite and inconsiderate. No comment. Tends to be a bit stubborn in changing the mind about things. Needs alcohol and the grumbles. Blah blah blah. Doesn't really care about anything anymore. What the fuck is up? These people are just so sad. Gibbo's stressed. Gibbo's been stressed since the alligator attack and hasn't been able to really get over it. It's just felt bored. He's just been fishing a lot. I think maybe I've got to really just do something to help Gibbo out. Really needs to pray to this certain god, apparently, so maybe I'll set up a church specifically for that. I don't quite know how to be extravagant and get excitement and stuff like that. Last time there was some excitement in Gibbo's life, he nearly died by a crocodile, so I don't really know how to deal with that. Has good intuition, has a meager kinesthetic sense, poor focus on a questionable spatial sense, extremely confident in himself in situations requiring his skills, cracks easily under pressure, feels strong surges and seeks short-term rewards. And all of this stuff goes into building those needs and all that unmet needs. Doesn't really care about anything either. Fantastic. Absolutely detests purring maggots. Can understand that for sure. And finally, Wheels, who I feel like we haven't really checked in on Wheels for a while, but Wheels has just been planting. Absolutely planting shit. Going crazy with legendary herbalist and high master planter. Feeling pretty satisfied at work. being euphoric after getting drunk, needs to fight, needs to help someone, needs to craft something, needs to be with family. Feeling a bit uneasy, dwelling upon seeing the dead fisherman's body. Yeah, fair. Personality, has a good feel for social relationships, good memory and good creativity, very bad analytical capabilities and little linguistic ability. Always acts with mercy and compassion at the forefront of her considerations after a new romance in the year 100. Ooh, so a year ago, Wheels had some romance. Very sloppy in her living space, only rarely feels strong cravings or urges. She's currently more rude, she's currently more fearless, currently more confident and shameless, less private, and more thoughtless. I don't know what causes this stuff to happen. She's currently, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's something to do with remembering the dead body or something. I don't know. Lots of cool values and stuff, but yeah, there's so much that goes into these character generation, and it all attributes to your skills and their tolerance for things, and it's really, really interesting and cool. All right, I'm going to see if I can make these fellas better. I don't think I've forgotten anyone. If I have, yell at me.